And we welcome you to the First Bank Center in San Antonio. I am Vinny from Vita Productions with another NBA2K26 presents the 2025-2026 season playthrough here as the calendar flips to November 18, 2025. We have a matchup between the San Antonio Spurs hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. See the Grizzlies in 12th place right now in the Western Conference at 5-9, but the Spurs are at 7-6. We look at the starting lineups with Morant, KCP, Jalen Wells. Let me see here. That was Wells, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Clark. We had the wrong lineup for a second, and then we got the Spurs with Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Johnson, and Wembanyama. As the Spurs will win the tip here at the Frost Bank Center. That was First Bank Center for a second, so I do apologize there. Both teams being featured for the first time in this season playthrough, which is the last unique matchup of this season play, or I should say of, as you see, I believe that was Vassell for 3 there. But this is the last unique matchup. That means the last matchup between two teams that have not been featured yet in this first schedule block is Jalen Wells will hit the 3 to tie this game up. See, De'Aaron Fox came over from Sacramento at the trade deadline last season. Stephon Castle passing it back over to Fox. Back over to Vassell. Vassell for 3. That is in and out, but Wembanyama will grab the offensive rebound and the slam dunk there. As you can see, De'Aaron Fox had 20 points, 6 assists against his former team in a win in their last game. As KCP has it for the Grizzlies. Over a minute into the game here. First half, you see Jaren Jackson Jr. with the inside shot there, and it's tied again. Minute and a half into this game, we are all tied at 5. You see De'Aaron Fox. Give it over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama, there it is, and he will get the jump shot. That is good, and the Spurs back on top. Victor Wembanyama averaging 22.6 points a game. And this is a Spurs team where I think a lot of people, even in real life, you see John Morant with the layup. That ties the game. As he's 23.5 points per game on the road. But a lot of people say that the Spurs are a team that could actually not just maybe sneak into the play-in, but probably get into the playoffs themselves this year. They started playing a little bit better when they acquired Fox. I mean, of course, now dawn of a new era where for the first time since 1997, there's no Greg Popovich on the sideline. I know that he had to leave for a step down for health reasons. See Castle passing it over to Fox. Fox back to Johnson. Wembanyama over to Vassell. Vassell for 3. That is no good. But the Spurs have missed the playoffs every year since the last time they made the playoffs was 2019, and looks like a team that is trying to end that drought this year. Over there, there's a jump 3-pointer there. And it's the Grizzlies on top, 10-7. So the Grizz are on top for the first time in this game. You see Wembanyama. There's a jumper, and that is good. Victor Wembanyama has 4. And he's averaging 22.6 points a game this season. And there's a 3-point attempt. That is no good. Brandon Clark will get the offensive rebound, and he'll get the points there. And it's 12-9 Grizzlies. About 4 minutes into the first quarter here. Back over to De'Aaron Fox, passing it over to Stephon Castle. Getting a little bit of a screen, though, by Wembanyama. Wembanyama for 3. That is off. No good. Brandon Clark grabbing the rebound. KCP with it for the Grizz here. Up by 3 already. And that, he almost threw it away for a second. I believe that was Jalen Wells for 3, and it's a 6-point Grizzlies lead here, over 4.5 into the game. Devin Vassell coming through. Wembanyama See Victor Wembanyama, who was the #1 overall pick just a couple years ago from France. 4 to shoot, 3 to shoot, 2 to shoot. He's got to get that off. He'll make it. So far, the Grizzlies 6 of 8 of shooting, and the Spurs 5 of 9. So we're approaching 5 minutes into this game. It's a 4-point lead for the Memphis Grizzlies. Wells back over to Jackson Jr. for 3. He drains it. It's a 7-point lead for Memphis. I see De'Aaron Fox coming through. And Memphis right now, without the services of Zach Edey, as you see Wembanyama, he's going to come through, and Wembanyama just having his way inside right now. Back to a 5-point game again. So we look it over and see John Morant. Nice pass over to Jaren Jackson Jr. for the slam dunk, and the Grizzlies are back up by 7. De'Aaron Fox crossing the timeline here. Stephon Castle coming through. Back over to Wembanyama. Wemby for 3. He drains it. See Wembanyama, 23.3 points per game at home, as the Grizzlies are only up by 4. We're over halfway through the first quarter here. See Wells back over to John Morant. 5 to shoot, 4 to shoot. Morant coming through. He'll get that shot up. That is in and off, and Wembanyama will grab the rebound for the Spurs, and Vassell with it. Give it back over to De'Aaron Fox. Fox being guarded by Morant. 9 to shoot. Fox thought about the shot for a second. He will get that jump shot up, and that is good. It's only a 2-point game. Looking at De'Aaron Fox, 19.4 points a game. He did miss the first couple of weeks of the season with injury, but he's back. You see Jaren Jackson Jr. coming around, and that is off the rim, no good. Johnson for the Spurs will grab the rebound. 20 to 18. Spurs on top. Fox, I believe that's for 3. That is in and out. Jaren Jackson Jr. with the rebound. Jaw with it. He and De'Aaron Fox will be a fun matchup tonight. In this game, you see Jaren Jackson. It's coming around. Jackson. That is good. It's a 4-point lead again for the Grizz. See Fox crossing the timeline. And the Spurs are up by 4. Castle coming through, passing it over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama has been really strong inside, and its inside game is continuing for the big man out of France. 2-point game again. The Grizzlies led by as many as 7. And its largest lead for the Spurs has been 3. As that is off, as Fox will get the rebound after Morant miss. John Morant, 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting and 1 assist, and that's going to be out of bounds, and San Antonio will retain possession. And we will have a timeout. And we're going to keep it at this timeout. And the reason why I keep it at this timeout, because it is the first timeout of the game, and it is time for me to promote my channel. For those who are new, I am Vita Productions. I do sports video games on this channel. Right now, you're currently watching a project that I'm doing for NBA2K26, the 2025-2026 season playthrough, where I play 1 game for every 1 to 2 calendar days, maybe even 3 calendar days, depending on how things are. And I play the game, then I go over the stats, followed by the post-game ticker for those calendar days I did not play. And then I go over the injury report or any notable news and notes that are worthy in the league that I actually have. Because I do control all 30 teams, so I don't know how things are. I don't know if they're set to auto or something, but that is as far as this NBA 2K goes. I also do College Football 26. Do simulation games, in which we had one last night. That is still to be determined at the time of the recording of this game, because I now am waiting until Wednesday to do games for simulations because Tuesday nights we have now the college football playoff rankings, and I kind of want to have the rankings I do align with the only rankings that matter. As you see Jeremy Sohan into the game now for the Spurs as Barnes. There's a shot. That is no good. I believe that might be Harrison Barnes in the game. As you see Scottie Pippen Jr. in there. Ty Jerome misses that. You see Dylan Harper coming through. Harper with the layup, and we are tied. See Dylan Harper, the son of Ron Harper. I see Jerome for three. That is off. Sohan has it. Barnes with it. Back over to Harper. Back over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin still has it right now. 7 to shoot. He'll go for three. That is off, and Lindell will have it. As you see, Scottie Pippen Jr. now has it. Back over to Jackson. Jackson back over to Pippen Jr., the son of Scottie Pippen. Pippen Jr. for three. That is off. No good. Barnes will get the rebound for the Spurs. Over to McLaughlin. Last game, Spurs defeated the Kings 113-94. See Barnes coming through, back over, and that is stolen by, couldn't see who that was. As you see Jerome over to Adams, and Adams puts the Grizzlies back on top by 2. Under 2 minutes to play here in the first. Cornette with it. Being guarded here, 10 to shoot. McLaughlin has it again. He can shoot the three. He will attempt a three. That is off. No good. Offensive rebound, and that is going to go to Aldama, I believe that's his name. I see McLaughlin. Oh, they almost lost it for a second, but Jerome keeps it in play. As you see Scottie Pippen Jr. inside the paint, trying to get through. He's going to pass it to Jackson. Back over to Aldama. That was Aldama with the shot. Pippen Jr. for three. No good. Barnes will grab the rebound. Barnes with it. Pass it over to Dylan Harper now. Back over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin shoots it from deep inside. He drains it, and we are tied at 24. Pippen Jr. with it after the inbound, crossing the timeline. Pippen Jr. back over to Jerome. Jerome for three. And Jerome puts the Grizzlies back on top by 3. McLaughlin with it for the Spurs. You got a new generation of San Antonio. As you see, Cornette with a slam dunk. It's a 1-point lead for the Grizzlies here as we are approaching 30 seconds of play here in the first. 27-26, the Grizzlies on top. We have a pretty entertaining first quarter. You see Jerome coming through. Thought about the shot. He doesn't. He'll pass it back over to Jackson Jr., back over to Jerome. 5 to shoot. He'll get the 3-point off, and that is good. It's a 4-point Grizzlies lead again. Led by as many as 7. You see Dylan Harper, shot clock turned off. Spurs can take the last shot before the end of the first quarter. Harper for 3. That is in and out, and that will do it for the first quarter. In a very highly entertaining first quarter, the Grizzlies on top of the Spurs, 30-26. We'll be back for the second quarter here in San Antonio. Back here at the Frostbank Center in San Antonio. We're in the second quarter now. The Grizzlies up 30-26 as they inbound it first. This is Aldama with it. Being guarded by Sohan. Jerome. Coming through now. You see Ty Jerome. There's a bucket. It's a 6-point lead. Ty Jerome has 8 points on 3 of 5 shooting. Harrison Barnes, who passes it over back to De'Aaron Fox, former teammates in Sacramento. You see Fox for 3. He drains it. It's a 3-point lead. Or 3-point game now for the Grizzlies. See Jaren Jackson Jr. back into the lineup now. So we got a little bit of mixture of subs and starters into the game is Scottie Pippen Jr. Coming through, passing back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. for three. He drains it. 6-point lead for the Grizzlies again. They led by as many as 7. See Cornette coming through, passing over to Harper. Dylan Harper for three. That is off. No good. Jackson with the rebound. Jackson back over to Jerome. Back over to Aldama, and Aldama with the slam dunk. And the Grizzlies are on top by 8. They're largest of the game. See Dylan Harper for the Spurs with it. Getting a little bit of a screen there. Pass it over to Cornette. Back over to Fox. 7 to shoot. 5 to shoot. Fox with the layup, and that's good. De'Aaron Fox. The points there. Pippen Jr. has it for the Grizzlies, I just say. Jackson coming through. Jackson with the layup, and that is good. It's back to an 8-point lead for Memphis. See Fox with it crossing the timeline. Getting a little screen by Cornette. Fox coming around the layup, and that is good. It's back to a 6-point game again, and Fox is starting to heat up a little bit in this game for the former Sacramento King. See Jackson was being guarded by Barnes for a second. You see Aldama for three. He drains it. The big man hitting the three in this game. It's a 9-point lead for the Grizz. As we're 3 minutes into the second quarter, 9-point lead. Fox, jump shot, good. I believe that might be 9 points for him already in this quarter, and the Grizzlies will call their first timeout. 8:47 to play in the second quarter. They are up by 7. We're going to take a timeout as well. And we are back here in San Antonio, 42-35, Grizzlies on top. I see Morant is coming back into the game. Let's look at the lineup set for the Spurs as Wembanyama will be coming back into the game. 8:47 to play in the second quarter. See, Morant grabs the inbound from Jackson. Jackson with it, passing back over to Jackson Jr. That shot is up, and Wembanyama will grab the rebound. Dylan Harper still in the game for the Spurs. Back over to Barnes. Back over to Wembanyama. 10 on the shot clock to De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox coming through, passing it over to Harper. Harper for three. That is off. No good. Jackson for the Grizzlies will grab it here. Approaching 4 minutes into the second quarter. Jackson Jr. with it. Giving over. There's a jumper. That is no good. Sochan with the rebound. Barnes with it. Passing it back over to Wembanyama. And Wembanyama with the bucket, and it's a 5-point game. Victor Wembanyama having his way on the inside, but that's the advantage you have at your height. Ty Jerome passing it over to Jaren Jackson Jr. for three. He drains it. It's an 8-point game again. Jackson Jr. had 12 points in that first quarter. Wembanyama does miss that, and Jaren Jackson Jr. will grab the rebound. Ty Jerome with it. He's also doing pretty well off the bench. Jackson Jr. layup, and it's good, and it's a 10-point lead for the Grizzlies. He has 20 points already in the second quarter. He has 8 in this 20 points in this game, I should say. 8 in the second. Wemby with it. Pass it over to Fox, and Fox with a layup, and that is good. De'Aaron Fox also having a strong game scoring-wise. It's an 8-point game again. Ty Jerome has it. Get it over to Jerome, back over to Jackson Jr. for three. That is no good. Dylan Harper grabbing the rebound here. Approaching 6.5 to play until halftime. Harper passing it over to Fox. De'Aaron Fox with it. Getting that screen. De'Aaron Fox with a jumper. That is no good. Jackson Jr. will grab the rebound as Ty Jerome with it. Ty Jerome 6:10 to shoot. Jackson for the Grizz coming through. Back over to Jackson Jr. for 3. That's good. Jaren Jackson Jr., 23 points. He has 11 so far in the second quarter as we're over halfway through the second quarter. 11 points. The difference now, largest of the lead of the game, I believe, for the Harper. Back over to Wembanyama. Wemby for 3. That is in and out. Aldama will grab the rebound. Ja Morant has it. Back over to Ty Jerome. 5.5 to play. Jerome with a jump shot. That's good. Look at that. The Grizzlies, 21 of 33 shooting-wise. Spurs are 18 of 33 shooting. 13-point lead for the Grizzlies. That is their largest of the game. See Fox coming around. Fox with a layup, and that is good. And a timeout called by the Grizzlies. 5:09 to play in the second quarter. 52-41. And we are back here in San Antonio. 11-point lead for the Grizzlies here. 5:09 to play in the second quarter. Well, we have the FCS have 24 teams. The FBS with a 12-team playoff for the second year in a row. But, you know, for me, I have a 28-team playoff for my college football 26 for what I like to do. And as I mentioned this, the 2018 playoff, you can go and watch my first projections after the actual college football playoff rankings came out. You see Ja Morant misses that one as Wembanyama grabbed the rebound. Devin Vassell back into the game. Back over to Wembanyama, and look at that slam dunk by Victor Wembanyama. That is worthy of the AT&T Connected Cam. Nice pass by De'Aaron Fox on that assist. Clark will inbound it to Morant. 9-point game. But as I said, a 2018 playoff is what I'm going to be doing. If you want to know the whole details about it, watch the video. I'll have that video posted up after this game is over with. As you see now, the Spurs are getting the rebound off the miss, still trailing by 9 with 4 minutes to play until halftime. Johnson back over to Fox. He loses it as Wells coming through. Wells with it, passing it over to, I believe that's, don't know if that was Jackson Jr. or not. I can't see who the name, but it wasn't Morant, I can tell you that. Fox with it, being guarded by Ja Morant. Couldn't get the screen by Victor Wembanyama, but there is another nice assist by Fox to Wembanyama, and that has been a good connection all game, as Wembanyama is going to go to the foul line. First team foul. Is he going to go to the line? Yes, he is going to go to the line. Okay. Interesting. He's not even going to dribble it. And he does drain it. It's a 6-point game. Wemby is having a really good game to this point. See what Wells can do. See Wells back coming around. Wells will get the shot up. That is good. It's an 8-point game again. Wembanyama. You see the Grizz led by as many as 13 so far. See Vassell for 3. He drains it. It's back to a 5-point game, as they are still trying to scratch and claw their way back into this game. Morant finding it over to KCP. KCP, there's a jump shot. That is no good. Wembanyama will grab the rebound. Over to Vassell, back over to Castle. Over to Vassell. Vassell for 3. That is off. No good. KCP with the rebound. So we're approaching 2.5 now to play here in the second quarter. Morant. That is off. No good. Vassell will grab the rebound. Harper. Ja Morant only 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting and 1 assist. Go over to Stephen Castle. Over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama for 3. That is in and out. No good. Aldama with the rebound. Morant coming through. Wells with it. Passing back over to KCP. Over to 2 minutes to play now in the second quarter. Back over to Aldama. Aldama for three. He drains it. The big man keeps shooting the three-pointers here. 8-point lead again for the Grizz. Harper for three. That is off, but Wembanyama will get the rebound and the put in. 6-point lead now. Just about a minute and a half to play until the second quarter. Aldama with it. 10 to shoot on the shot clock for the Grizz. It's coming through, back over to Clark, passing over to Morant. 4 to shoot on the shot clock, 2 to shoot. There's a big jump shot, that is up, no good. Wembanyama grabbing the rebound. Johnson with it for the Spurs, passing over to Castle, back to Wembanyama, to Vassell. Over to Castle, back over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama back to Castle, over to Harper. Harper for three. That is off, no good. Clark will get the rebound. Under a minute to play here. Dylan Harper only 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting and 2 assists. That is the first round draft pick out of Rutgers, as well as Ace Bailey, another top 5 draft pick. See Wells for three. That is off, no good. Johnson. Over to Dylan Harper. Harper coming around, he gets a layup, and that is good. That's 4 points for him. It's a 4-point game again, separating the two clubs here. Shot clock still on, so the Grizzlies do have to take one more shot before halftime. You see the crowd chanting defense here. Ja Morant had 24 points in the loss to Cleveland in their last game. Morant will shoot for three. That is no good. Wembanyama pass it over to Johnson. Johnson! Oh, just off. That probably would have counted. In a highly contested game, very good first half. San Antonio not going away. The Memphis Grizzlies led by as many as 13, but I said the Spurs are not going away. It's a 4-point lead for Memphis as we head to halftime. As we're going to send it to the halftime report, I'll be back to start the second half. We are back here in San Antonio. It's a 4-point lead for the Grizzlies. We got Victor Wembanyama, who has 24 points, leading the Spurs. Most of those have been inside the paint. He did have that three-pointer, and of course he does have a free throw in this game. Clark will inbound to Morant. Start the second half here with the Grizzlies up by 4. They led by as many as 13. You see Fox, Castle, Wembanyama, Vassell, and Johnson. The starting 5, you see Wells for three. That is off, no good. Wembanyama will grab the rebound. Devin Vassell with it. Back over to Castle. Castle for three. That is off. Wembanyama with the offensive rebound and the dunk. It's a 2-point game, and now he has 26 points. The rest of the team has only 29 combined. Ja Morant back over to Jackson Jr., who had 23 in that first half. He'll miss that one. Wembanyama with a chance. Gives it over to Fox. Chance for the Spurs to tie or take the lead for the first time since the first quarter. Fox give it over to Wembanyama. And there is a reach-in foul against KCP. So that will be the first team foul as the shot clock resets to 14. Johnson getting ready to inbound it back over to Fox. 10 to shoot. Back over to Castle. Castle, that is in and out, but he gets his offensive rebound and the second chance points there. And we are tied at 57. Just a minute 15 into the third quarter. 57-57. See Grizzlies, and there's a block right there by Wembanyama as Fox will grab control of it. There's a three-pointer. That's off, and Jaren Jackson Jr. will grab the rebound. Ja Morant having a really off night right now. He's 1 of 9 shooting. We're only 2 points and 1 assist. Jalen Wells with it. Passing it back over to Jackson Jr. who has 23 in the game. Back over to Morant for 3. He drains it. And he needed that bucket, and so did the Grizzlies as they are back on top by 3. As we are 2 minutes into the third quarter, De'Aaron Fox. Over to Devin Vassell, back over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama with an easy bucket there. He now has 28 in this game, and it's back to a 1-point lead for Memphis. Here in the third quarter, Morant coming through, passing back over to Jaren Jackson Jr., back to KCP. 8 on the shot clock. Back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. to Clark, back to Wells. Over to KCP. KCP for 3. That is off, and Wembanyama with the rebound. Vassell with it. Passing it over to Castle. Castle. I believe that is De'Aaron Fox, but that is in and out, and KCP will grab the rebound for the Grizzlies, going the other way. As we're approaching 3 minutes into the third quarter, KCP back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. with the slam dunk. And it's a 5-point lead, a 3-point lead again for the Grizzlies. They are shooting 51%. The Spurs at 53%. As Jaren Jackson Jr. is at 25 points now. Wembanyama, that was a deep inside shot. That's no good. Jackson with the rebound. Or Jackson Jr., I should say. KCP coming. KCP giving it over to Jaren Jackson Jr. Back over to KCP with under 8 to shoot. Ja Morant coming around. Hitting De'Aaron Fox, and Morant's going to get the layup. That is 7 points for him in this game. He has 5 in the second quarter. Ja Morant might start to heat up now, after a very terrible first half that he had. De'Aaron Fox for 3. He drains it. Not going away yet. He had 15 in that first half. With that three-pointer, make that 18. Timeout, Memphis. Only a 2-point lead here. 7:58 to play in the third quarter. We're going to take a timeout ourselves. We'll be back. And we are back here in San Antonio as we look at Victor Wembanyama. He's averaging 23 points a game this season, but look at his average over the last 5 games, 26.4 points a game. As we are back here with 7:58 to play in the third quarter. 2-point lead for the Grizzlies. See Morant taking the inbound here. If you're enjoying this, please hit that like, comment, and hit the subscribe button, as well as a bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do come out. As you see KCP with a 3-pointer, and the Grizzlies are back on top by 5. The Spurs have not led since the early part of the first quarter. Fox for 3. That is in and out, and KCP with the rebound. The Grizzlies led by as many as 13, but the Spurs have come back to tie the game plenty of times, but have not led since that first quarter. See Clark with it. Get back over to Morant. Morant for 3. That is off. No good. Devin Vassell with the rebound. Ja Morant only 7 points on 3 of 12 shooting. And that was an alley-oop attempt, but Clark will get the steal there. As KCP with it, who's hit a 3 earlier, coming out of the timeout. Back over to Morant. Morant passing over to Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3. That is no good. Devin Vassell grabbing the rebound for the Spurs. Back over to Johnson. Over to Fox. Fox with a layup, and that is good. De'Aaron Fox, I believe, now has 20 in this game. I see Jaren Jackson Jr. will get the layup. He has 27 in this game. 12 points in the paint. It's back to a 5-point lead for the Grizz. Fox with it. Fox for 3. That is off. No good. Jaren Jackson Jr. with the rebound. KCP with it. So we give it over to Wells. Wells coming around. Wells, that is tipped by Wembanyama, but Clark still has it, but that's a block by Wembanyama. He'll grab it now for the Spurs as now Fox with it. Passing over to Vassell. Vassell coming around. That is no good. KCP grabbing the rebound. See Wells with it. Back over to Morant. Morant for three. That is no good. Johnson with the rebound as Castle will grab it now for the Spurs. Fox giving it over to Vassell. Vassell for three. That is off. No good. Wembanyama will get the offensive rebound, and he'll get the points. 69-66 with 5:17 to play in the third. 3-point lead for the Grizz. And see Wembanyama, I believe now he's unofficially at 30 points. Had a very good first half. Seems like he's still having a good second half, third quarter right now. Morant for three. That is no good. Wembanyama will grab the rebound here. You see Fox coming around. Fox misses it. Morant grabbing the three. Under 5 to play in the third. I see Wells with it. Coming around back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. over to John Morant. Third quarter. Morant for three. He drains it. That's his second three of the game, and John Morant is in double figures. You see Fox with it. Back over to Castle. Castle for three. That is no good. John Morant with it. He's coming through, and that is stolen by Wembanyama. Castle coming around with it. Back over to Vassell. Devin Vassell with it. Back over to Castle. Victor Wembanyama. Back over to Castle. Castle for three. That is no good. Wells grabbing the rebound for the Grizzlies. Morant. See him coming through now. Back over to KCP. KCP for three. No good. Victor Wembanyama grabs the rebound. 6-point lead for the Grizzlies here with 3.5 to play. Fox with it. Fox for three. No good. Jackson Jr. with the rebound. See Wells with it. Coming through. Holding on. Back over to John Morant here. 10 on the shot clock for the Grizz. 7 to shoot. Back over to KCP for three. No good. Fox with the rebound. De'Aaron Fox with it. Over to Johnson. Johnson for three. He drains it. It's a 3-point lead again. Or the game is back to 3 points again. As the Grizzlies are up by 3. And we have a timeout by the Grizzlies. 2:41 to play. 72-69. 2:41 left in the third quarter. And it's time for me to take another timeout. 2:41 to play in the third quarter here in San Antonio. It is a 72-69 lead for the Grizzlies here. As we look at steals a game per season, we look at the league leaders. You see the Spurs in 5th place there. And also, don't forget, when this game is done, we are not done yet, as we will have the post-game ticker here. As I said, Landell with Jerome in the lineup. Substitutions being made by both teams. Ty Jerome coming through. Had a pretty solid first half himself off the bench. Scottie Pippen Jr. deep from inside. That is good. Grizzlies shooting 30 for 61. Spurs 31 to 64. Both teams just below 50%. Z Barnes with it. Back over to Jeremy Sochan. As we're approaching the final 2 minutes, you see Sochan for three. That is off. No good. Scottie Pippen Jr. with the rebound. 5-point Grizzlies lead right now. Jerome passing it over to Scottie Pippen Jr. Just had to bucket the other end. 8 to shoot on the shot clock. And that is off as Waters III is now into the game, I believe, for the first time for the Spurs, I should say. Back over to Cormette. Luke Cormette with the bucket in the dunk, and it's a 3-point lead. Third quarter. Aldama with it. Back over to Jackson. Not Jackson Jr., but just Jackson. And you see Aldama. He'll miss that one. Jeremy Sochan will grab the rebound. As we see Barnes with it. Barnes with the layup, and that is good. It's a 1-point game with under a minute to play in the third. This has been a very highly contested game. One of the entertaining games we have had so far is Landell with it for the Grizzlies here. Under 13 to play here. Jackson Jr. coming. Jackson back over to Scottie Pippen Jr. Pippen Jr. That's a deep inside shot. That is no good. Barnes will grab the rebound. Can the Spurs take the lead for the first time since the first quarter? Jeremy Socon, in fact, does put the Spurs back on top. And that's their first lead again since the first quarter. And the Spurs on top, 75-74. Jackson coming through, jump shot. That is good, and the Grizzlies are back on top. Shot clock turned off as we're under 24 to play here in the third quarter, I should say. 10 to shoot, or 10 left in the third quarter. That's how much you have left to shoot in the quarter anyway. Harper, give it back over. There's a shot. That is no good. Landell will grab the rebound, and that will do it. We are at the end of 3 here. Very good game, still up in the air. The Grizzlies lead it 76-75. We'll be back to start the fourth here in San Antonio. Back here in San Antonio. Look at the assist of the game. Who was that? Not sure who that was, but I know that was to Jaren Jackson Jr. Here in the final quarter here, I see Barnes inbounding it to his former teammate in Sacramento. As Harper for 3, that is off, no good. Jaren Jackson Jr. with the rebound. Jerome, Pippen Jr., Jackson Jr., Jackson and Aldana in the lineup for the Spurs, or for the Grizzlies, I should say. Jackson Jr. coming around. That is off. No, that was just Jackson. But he does get the offensive rebound. Scottie Pippen Jr. 5 to shoot. Back over to Jackson Jr. this time. That is no good. Cornette will get the rebound. Harper with it. Back over to, I believe that's Fox in the air. Fox puts the Spurs back on top. It's only the second time they have led in this second half, and that was late in the third quarter and now here early in the fourth. It's by 1, but other than that, they have not led. Before that, they haven't led since the first quarter. See, Jaren Jackson Jr. misses it, and Cornette will grab the rebound. Fox with it. Trying to put the team up. They led by as many as 3. You see Dylan Harper for 3. That is no good. Ty Jerome will grab the rebound. Minute and a half into the fourth quarter. Jackson. As Jackson puts the Grizzlies back on top. Ty Jerome had the assist there, as you see Cornette with it. Harper coming around. Harper, he gets a dunk, and Dylan Harper and the team, he has 6 points in this game, and the Spurs are back on top by 1. As we are now 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, the waning minutes of this game, it's going by. Harper giving it back over to Aldama. Being guarded by Jeremy Socon. To Ty Jerome. Jerome for 3. No good. Socon will grab the rebound. Barnes with it. Fox giving it up. Has it right now. Back over to Cornette. Cornette with it. 9 to shoot. Cornette coming around. He's been rejected by Jackson Jr. And now Jackson will have it. Back over to Jerome. Ty Jerome with the layup. And that is no good. Socon will get the rebound. Fox with it. De'Aaron Fox with his team up by 1. Fox for 3. No good. Jackson Jr. with a chance now with the rebound. Scottie Pippen Jr. passing it over to Jerome. Jerome with it. Over 3 minutes into the fourth quarter here. Scottie Pippen Jr. back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. for 3. He drains it, and it's a 2-point lead again for the Grizzlies. Timeout, San Antonio. 8:43 to play in the fourth quarter. It is 81-79 Memphis. And we are going to stay here because, as I mentioned earlier, when the game ends, we're not done yet because we have the statistics as well as the post-game ticker and the injury report, as well as there's any news and notes that are worthy for me to announce. And then also, we are now going to announce the game that will be out tomorrow. And that will be at 2 p.m. Eastern again. 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, as I think it is a Friday, and it's going to be a college football stream will be taking place. College football game will be taking place that day. And tomorrow's game will be in Cleveland. We'll actually see the Cavaliers for the third time in this first schedule block, and they'll be hosting the defending Eastern Conference champion Indiana Pacers. It'll be the first time we feature the Pacers, and the Pacers, as I said, are without Tyrese Halliburton this season. He is out for the entire season with that injury. As you see, Jackson Jr. coming in as we are done with this timeout here. 8:43 to play in the fourth quarter. 81-79. As I said, Pacers at Cavaliers tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. See Fox with it. And in the back over, you see De'Aaron Fox coming around for three. That is off. No good. Aldama with the rebound. Trying to put the Grizzlies back up by at least 2 possessions here. As I said, they led by as many as 13 in that first half. Lindell back over to Jerome with under 10 to shoot. Jerome coming through. Jerome for three. Basically from the stadium logo here. SoCon will grab the rebound. Dylan Harper with it. Harper coming around and Wembanyama will tie the game. We are tied at 81 once again. Feels like a heavyweight battle, even though one team is going one direction, the other team not going too well. You see Morant coming through. Morant, he's going to go to the line as Harper called for the foul. See Ja Morant. He's getting ready to shoot too. 7:40 to play in the fourth. Morant. AC Cornet's coming back into the game. So Wembanyama will be moving to power forward. Cornet is going to be in the game for the center. Morant does make them both. I believe he's at 12 points in this game. Back over to see Wembanyama. Wembanyama with another bucket, easy bucket. He has 34 in this game, 26 of those in the paint. And we are tied at 83 here, 7:20 to play in the fourth. Ty Jerome, right at that Frost Bank Arena logo. Jaren Jackson Jr. misses that one. Wembanyama. Fox with it with a chance to put the Spurs back on top. Fox for three. No good. Morant grabs the rebound for the Grizzlies. 83-83. We are tied here. Ty Jerome has to get over to John Morant. Morant. He's going to get to the line again, and this time Wembanyama called for the foul. That is his first personal and the second team foul against the Spurs. We look at the Spurs' upcoming schedule. They have a home game against the Hawks coming up in their next game. Then they're on the road for 3 in a row. I see Morant going to the line here. Again, if you're enjoying this game, you're watching this at this point, please hit that like button, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive notifications, not just for this NBA 2K26 project, but also for my college football 26 content as well. As Morant did hit the first one, and he'll hit the second. Grizzlies back on top by 2 as Barnes is in the game. Fox back over to Devin Vassell. Back over to De'Aaron Fox for three. That is off the rim, no good. Ja Morant with the rebound here. 6.5 to play here in the fourth. Ty Jerome with it. Gonna hand it off. Hand it over to Brandon Clark. Clark for three. That is no good. Vassell grabbing the rebound. Fox with it. He and Morant. This was actually a marquee match, but it's been more Fox as far as shooting wise. But however, though, Morant's been heating up a little bit in the second quarter, and his team is ahead by 2 right now. Fox to the layup. That is no good. Ja Morant grabbing the rebound. We're now over halfway through the first quarter. Aldama, or fourth quarter, I say. Aldama for three. He drains it. I believe that's his third three-pointer of the game. And the Grizzlies are back on top by 5 with a little over 5.5 to play in the fourth. Stephon Castle coming around. He now has Ja Morant on him. Castle will get the layup, and that's good. 88-85 Spurs, or Grizzlies, I should say. See the Grizzlies 34-76 shooting in this game. Back over to Ty Jerome. Jerome back over to Jaren Jackson Jr. Jackson with the layup, that's good. Ty Jerome with another assist. Back over to Fox, back to Vassell. Over to Wembanyama, and Wembanyama with the slam dunk. I believe that's 36 for him in this game. And it's still only a 3-point game. Clark with it. He had a 3-pointer earlier in this game. Ty Jerome. Back over to Morant. Morant misses, thought about it, but he passes that one up. Clark over to Jackson Jr. Back over to Jerome. Ty Jerome, 4 to shoot. Jerome passing over to Morant for 3. He drains it. Ja Morant has 17 in this game. He just hit a big 3 right there to put the Grizzlies back on top by 6. Back over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama, that is off the rim, no good. Ja Morant has it. Aldama with it. Aldama finding over to Morant. 12 to shoot here in there. Morant with it. Back over to under 9 to shoot. Ja Morant for another 3. That is off, but look at that. Jaren Jackson Jr. getting the offensive rebound in the slam dunk, and the Grizzlies are up by 8. They might be trying to pull away in this game. Over to Barnes. There's a Barnes. It's 6 to shoot, 5 to shoot, or no. Now we're under 5 to shoot. De'Aaron Fox for 3. That is off. Wembanyama will get the rebound, and he's going to go to the line with an and one opportunity. Victor Wembanyama is definitely keeping the Spurs in this game with his offensive rebounds as well as his inside shooting here, as he's going to go to the line. Again, pardon me, guys. I am dealing with something right now. And also doing the commentary might dry my throat out as well. But you know what? Still going to deliver you guys some content. Unless I'm really down like I was a couple days ago. Jackson Jr. You see Ja Morant with it. 5 to shoot. Morant coming around with the layup. That's good. That's 22 for him. Morant had a very poor first half, but he's been heating it up in the second half as San Antonio will call a timeout here. 2:47 to play here. The Grizzlies up 97-90. We're going to take a timeout. And we are back here in San Antonio where the Grizzlies are up 97-90. 2:47 to play here. It has been a little bit of a back and forth game, but it looks like the Grizzlies are trying to pull away here as Vassell inbounding it here. Again, still plenty of time to play. I see Fox with it. Being guarded by Morant here. Morant has definitely had a better second half. Back over to Wembanyama, and Wembanyama with the slam dunk. Victor Wembanyama, I believe he's closing in on 40 points in this game. I could be wrong, though. But he is definitely close here, and there is an illegal screen against Jalen Wells. And San Antonio will get the ball again. Looking at the block of the game, I believe that was Jaren Jackson on Luke Cormett. Or Cormett. Yeah, excuse me, guys. I have a little bit of a dry throat. See Fox coming through. Fox with the layup and a slam dunk, I should say. De'Aaron Fox with 24 points in this game. It's a 3-point game again as we're approaching the game's final 2 minutes. Morant back to KCP, over to Clark. Back over to Ja Morant. Morant coming through. That's a spin layup, and that is good. It's a 5-point lead again for the Grizz. 1:50 to play here. See Fox again over to Johnson, and Johnson will get to the line, but Jaren Jackson Jr. called for the foul. That's his second. That's the Grizzlies' second team foul.
Second team foul.
Keldon Johnson going to the line. Look at all those NBA championships there. And that's the first one is made there. All those NBA championships were during the days with David Robinson, and then you had Tim Duncan, as well as Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. Spurs are looking to try to get back to those days as the second one is missed. KCP for 3. That is off the iron, no good. Vassell will get the rebound here. 1.5 to play here. Spurs trailing by 4. See Fox for 3. That is off, no good. Clark will grab the rebound. Ja Morant back over to Jalen Wells, over to Morant. Inside, Morant coming through with the slam dunk. It's a 6-point lead with the AT&T Connected Cam. Oh, man, Ja Morant. You had him in the first half, but he's been alive in the second half here. Still a 6-point lead for the Grizzlies, and nowhere near over with yet. Fox coming around. Go over past Morant, and he's going to get to the line as Morant is called for the foul. Again, this game is nowhere near over with yet. As the Spurs are now in the bonus this late in the game with 1:01 to play here in the fourth. Huge free throw coming up. And he drains it. 101-98. Ja Morant with it after getting the inbound. Crossing the timeline. He and Fox. And that shot is up. That is no good. Johnson with the rebound. He did have the free throws earlier. He missed the second one. But Keldon Johnson back over to Castle. Under 35 now to play here. Castle with it. Coming through. Castle, 6 to shoot. Back over to Wembanyama. Wembanyama with a bucket, and it's a 1-point game with 26 to play. Clark will inbound it, almost lost it, and that's going to be a foul. That would have been something if Wembanyama would have fouled. Or if Wembanyama was able to actually get that ball to go out of bounds off of a Grizzly player, and that is going to be a foul, and Memphis is now going to the line as Stephen Castle. So free throws for both teams the rest of the way here in the final waning seconds. Huge free throws coming up. 2 shots. And remember, you got 3-point shooters on both sides. Even Wembanyama was able to drain one earlier in this game, as KCP will make the first one. KCP will make the second one. Timeout. San Antonio, 23.7 to play, and I'll be taking a timeout as well. And we are back here in San Antonio. 3-point game for the Grizzlies. They're on top 103-100. 23.7 to play here as San Antonio did use their last timeout. Spurs above 500 for the first time in this season playthrough here, but the Grizzlies are 5-9 on the year. You see the inbound back over to Johnson, over to Fox. I don't think they are, but you see Johnson will shoot for three. That is no good. I don't think they need to go for three right away. Fox will get called for the foul as John Morant will now go to the line shooting two. Even if Morant sinks them both. Not doom and gloom yet for the Spurs. But they do have to get something going here. They have to make one. They did not have to go for three, I don't think, at that time. The last time down. And see, Morant does miss the first one, so that is good for San Antonio there. Morant does sink the second one. Spurs with no timeouts here. So they're going to have to go for three here, or quick bucket here. Johnson for three. That is off. No good. Morant is going to go to the line again as Wembanyama. That's his third personal foul. And these free throws could essentially ice this game. Two shots for John Morant. And he'll make the first one. It's a 5-point game. It is still a two-possession game. 6.7, as I said. He makes them both. No timeouts for San Antonio. They have to drive the length of the court. They're going to have to get that shot up. Castle for three. That is no good, and that's going to do it. Jaren Jackson with the rebound here. And that is a final. The Memphis Grizzlies will walk out of San Antonio with a 106-100 win over the San Antonio Spurs. In a game that really did come down to the wire until the last few seconds. And the fans here at Frostbank Center, I kind of don't blame them. They feel dejected right now. As I said, the Grizzlies were up by as many as 13, and the Spurs came back to tie it in. Actually had a lead for a little bit in that second half. You see player of the game goes to Jaren Jackson Jr. Usually give the player of the game to the winning team, even though I think Wembanyama had the better stats in this game, but Jaren Jackson was a part of a win. Time to look at the statistics here for the players, and we always start off with the home team, win or lose, and in this case it was a loss by the Spurs, but let's look at the stats. We can't take anything away from Victor Wembanyama. Double-double, 43 points, 18 rebounds, almost a 40-20 game. He had 2 assists and 2 steals to go along with that big monster game with the points and the boards. De'Aaron Fox, 27 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Devin Vassell, 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Dylan Harper had 6 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. Stephon Castle, 4 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. Keldon Johnson only had 4 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Luke Cornett, I think it was Cornett. I kept saying Cornett, but I think it was maybe Cornett. He had 4 points, 4 rebounds off the bench. Harrison Barnes, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Jeremy Sochan. I still always had trouble pronouncing his name. Sochan. Let me see. He only had 2 points, 6 rebounds. Jordan McLaughlin only had 2 points and an assist. Lindy Waters only had 1 rebound and 1 assist. Kelly Olynyk, Harrison Ingram, Carter Bryant, Julian Champagny. They did not play in this game for the San Antonio Spurs. And now we look at the victorious Memphis Grizzlies on the road. Jaren Jackson Jr., 34 points, 13 rebounds, 1 assist and a block in the game. John Morant, as I said, he was scoreless, or not held scoreless, but was terrible in that first half. He only had 2 points. Well, he had 24 in the second half, and a big part of the reason why the Grizzlies were able to hold on and win this game. 26 points. We had 6 rebounds and 3 assists on top of that. Santi Aldama, 13 points, 4 rebounds. off the bench. Ty Jerome had 10 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists. Yeah, I think he had all those points in that first half. I think he had 2 in the second half, I think. But Jalen Wells, though, 8 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, and a steal. Gigi Jackson, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. KCP only had 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Brandon Clark, 2 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. Scottie Pippen Jr., only 13 minutes of play, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Jock Landell only had 2 rebounds and 1 steal. John Conchar, Vince Williams Jr., Olivier Maxis Prosper, and Cedric Howard and Javon Small all did not play for the Memphis Grizzlies. And that is it for the statistics for this game. It is now time for the post-game ticker brought to you by 2K Sports. And we start off with, again, games played on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Very small slate of games on this day here. We start off in the land of the House of Mouse here, where the Orlando Magic defeat the Warriors 132-119. The Celtics with a 198 win over the Brooklyn Nets. The Pistons 131-130 overtime winners over the Atlanta Hawks. And a game that we just watched in a very highly contested game. It is the Memphis Grizzlies coming away with a 106-100 win over the San Antonio Spurs. For the Los Angeles Lakers, they had to go to overtime, but they defeat the Jazz 157-149. Jazz and the Nets, again, tied for the worst record at 2-12 on the season. And the Portland Trailblazers pull off the upset in overtime over the Phoenix Suns, 139-133. And now we head to Wednesday, November 19th, as we are in Cleveland. We start off in Cleveland as we're going to see them tomorrow. But they ended up falling to the Houston Rockets 135-123 in this game. In Indiana, the other team that we're going to see tomorrow, we're going to see them for the first time in a watched game. They defeat the Hornets 129-108. They were actually within a game of 500. They might have a chance to pull even tomorrow. Well, who knows? The Heat lose their 9 of their last 10 games with a 111-89 loss to the Golden State Warriors. So the Warriors lost to the Magic, but then they defeat the Heat. So they split their trip over in Florida. The Raptors 119-113 winners over the Philadelphia 76ers. The Timberwolves are still off to the NBA best 14-1 record, 127-112 winners over the Washington Wizards. The Denver Nuggets 120-118 winners over the New Orleans Pelicans. The Thunder still 14-2, a half game behind the Timberwolves for the best record in the league. 138-120 winners over the Sacramento Kings. It's going to be a long year in Sacramento, both in this universe and in real life, it seems like. The Knicks hand the Mavericks their 7th loss in 9 games. As the Knicks bounce back, they are now 11-3 on the year. They win 123-90 over the Mavericks and Big D. And the Bulls 126-105 winners over the Portland Trailblazers. Actually, I kind of want to apologize to everybody because I actually have to edit a little bit of things out from what I said at the end of the November 19th games, because I forgot that we have a game on November 21st. It's November 21st is the calendar between the Cavs and the Pacers. So now we have to go through the November 20th games. And as we see here, we have the Clippers 125-106 winners over the Orlando Magic. The Kings fall to the Grizzlies 124-108. So the Grizzlies are now winners of 2 in a row after their win against the Spurs in the game that we just watched. Well, we have the Bucks 111-105 winners over the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Hawks escape the Spurs 129-127 in San Antonio. So the Spurs are back to being below 500, and the Hawks are now 9-7 on the season. And now I can officially say this is your post-game ticker. If your team won, congratulations. If not, there's always tomorrow. Do have injury reports coming up after the games for November 20th, 2025. Edgecombe and McCain are still out 1 to 2 weeks with different injuries. We had the Milwaukee Bucks with nothing to report. Neither do the Bulls. Cavaliers, as I've been mentioning, Struss is still out 2 to 4 weeks. Larry Nance Jr. still out 1 to 2 weeks. And then we have Craig Porter Jr., who is hurt, but he is with the bruised right knee. He is day to day. Boston Celtics are still without Jason Tatum for 4 to 6 months. Chris Paul now is the only one on the injured list for the Clippers. He's still out another 2 to 4 weeks as Brook Lopez is back in the lineup for the Clips. Zach Edey still out 1 to 2 weeks with a sore right ankle. Hawks, nothing to report. Let's see. Tyler Hero is now up to just hurt, upgraded to hurt now instead of out, but he's still out for another 1 to 2 weeks. Rozier, again, indefinitely suspended. Charlotte Hornets, nothing to report. Jazz, nothing to report. The Kings, Domantas Sabonis is now day-to-day with a sprained left wrist. The Kings are already struggling this year. They kind of do not need him to be injured. Knicks, nothing to report. Lakers, nothing to report. The Magic, I mentioned Wendell Carter Jr. was already out 4 to 6 weeks, and now we have Tyus Jones out 2 to 4 weeks with a bruised right shoulder. Kyrie Irving still out another 2 to 4 weeks with the ACL injury, and Derek Lively Jr. out 4 to 6 weeks with that dislocated elbow. As I mentioned before, Michael Porter Jr. and Terrence Mann, they're both out 2 to 4 weeks with different injuries. The injury is still the same for the Nuggets here. As actually, Bruce Brown is now 1 to 2 weeks. Christian Braun is now day-to-day. Same with Jonas Valanciunas. Again, Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers. We will not be seeing him tomorrow. He is out for the season with the Achilles injury from the NBA Finals. Pelicans, nothing to report. Pistons, Jaden Ivey still 4 to 6 months. I should say with a cracked neck vertebrae. Raptors, nothing to report. Fred VanVleet for the Rockets still out with a torn ACL for the season. Nothing for the Spurs or the Suns. OKC Thunder, we officially have Alex Caruso back in the lineup for the Thunder, but Hartenstein still out another 1 to 2 months. Minnesota Timberwolves out. Let's see here. Damian Lillard, as I said, still out for the season. Shaedon Sharpe is still out another 2 to 4 weeks. This time we got Tamani Kamara out 1 to 2 weeks with a twisted right knee. That's a bad injury. Warriors, nothing to report. And for the Wizards, we still have Whitmore, Carrington, and McCollum out. And that is your injury report for the games played after November 20th, 2025. All right. And once again, I'm going to remind everybody that tomorrow we'll be at Cleveland for the Cavaliers versus the Pacers. Once again, as I mentioned, the Cavaliers will be featured for the third time in schedule block number 1 and the final time in this first schedule block, as we have 4 games remaining in schedule block number 1. And the Pacers will be featured for the first time in this season playthrough in a watched game. The Pacers are 7-8 on the season, the defending Eastern Conference champions, doing this without Tyrese Halliburton. As I mentioned, his injury from the NBA Finals is going to keep him out for basically this entire season. And the Cavaliers, though, off to a 10-6 start, but they do have injuries of their own. I definitely know Darius Garland is back in the lineup for the Cavs. He did miss the first part of the season. He was out also for the first 2 watched games. So that is it for the NBA 2K content portion of this. I also do have announcements. As I said, the College Football 26 simulation video coming out. The new one will be out at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. The one from last night, I go back and watch that, as well as my 2018 College Football Playoff first projected bracket look, as the College Football Playoff rankings are now officially out at the time that this video is been released, as we got some really good games coming up this weekend. So, again, as I said, the games are to be determined at the time of the recording of this game. So, thought I would let you guys know that. So that is it for this video. Reminding you guys, the final score, the Memphis Grizzlies defeat the San Antonio Spurs 106 to 100. I am Vinny from VW Productions. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive notifications when these videos do come out. And with that, I am signing off.